Welcome! This is a personal tribute to Revolution Trains, showcasing the N-gauge models they've produced in the last 5 years. I have no business connections with them whatsoever, simply a very satisfied customer and crowdfunder. We start with the Pendolino. It wasn't the first model that they actually produced, but it did commence their crowdfunding campaign. It has remained the iconic image that we all associate with Revolution. It is quite an outstanding model. A power car at both ends, power connections going through all of the coaches, lights in the first class compartments, and super detail throughout. It perfectly captures the sleek look of the original trains. 39005 City of Wolverhampton is forming the 1322 Virgin Trains service to Glasgow Central. The first wagons to arrive in the UK were the TEA Tank Wagons. 8 different liveries were offered by Revolution, and here we see examples of the EWS livery and the Freightliner Green. This is the 6E46 from Kingsbury to Lindsey Oil Refinery, passing through Ashpeth Station. A Class 70 passes Red Rick Ordnance Depot with 3 wagons that are bound for Leeds Midland Road Depot to have the branding removed. A last look at the TEAs is the 6D79 from Lindsey Oil Refinery to Neville Hill, and this is in the hands of a recently refurbished Class 60. I'm going to introduce the wagons in the order in which they were produced, and this will not necessarily be the order when they were put forward for crowdfunding. So the next wagons to be introduced were the Class B tanks. 7 varieties were offered, and we see here examples of the Esso, Charringtons and United Molasses, either with or without the blue ends. 3 examples in service. A rake of empty Esso tanks is being taken back to Fawley Refinery in the hands of a 9F. Next, a short rake of Charringtons travelling from Fawley Refinery to Bedale Oil Terminal. Lastly, some United Molasses examples travelling to a brewery in Burton-upon-Trent. IZA Cargowaggon Twins followed. They were in the Perrier livery and two varieties of the cargo wagon livery. They had very good kinematic NEM couplers on the outer ends, and they had dedicated inner couplings to make sure that the wagons were a scale distance apart. As we fly over Wandsbek Yard, we're just in time to catch the 6X65, which is the Didcot Yard to Moss End, carrying bags of clay, and it's in the hands of a Class 59. A partnership with Sonic Models followed with the production of VEA Vans. These were converted from BR van wides to provide munitions transport for the MOD. And three liveries were manufactured: BR Maroon, BR Rail Freight Red Grey, and Rail Freight Distribution Grey and Yellow. .37506 is in charge of a small rake of these wagons travelling to Redmire, which is the tank and munitions centre for Catterick Camp. A similar service about a year later is piloted by 37191. The wagons originated in Redmire and they're carrying spent munitions on the way to Kinniton Munitions Dump. After the VEAs came PFA KFA Container Flats. 6 versions were produced, making them suitable for trains from 1987 to the present day. And they were in partnership with SeaRail to produce 40-foot high cube containers in a variety of attractive liveries, and these Tanktainers. A typical example in service is this 4E01 from Southampton to Leeds Freightliner Terminal, and we see it passing through Leefield Central Station. We travel back to an earlier era with the Sturgeon Engineers wagons. 5 varieties were offered here: black, Indian stroke Gulf red, Engineers olive green, departmental yellow and Dutch, and they could be purchased with or without drop-side doors. The varieties on show here underneath the grime are the black versions, the Engineers olive green and these Dutch ones. Returning from an engineering possession to Bescot Yard, these wagons are carrying unused rail, an old track section and some redundant old sleepers. This trip is travelling from a possession near Tamworth to Chaddesden Sidings, where it intends to collect some additional wagons. Quite unusual to have a Class 33 in this part of the country. Finally, we have the HOA aggregates hoppers. 5 liveries were offered here: EWS Construction, Cemex, DB Schenker, Ermiwa with tarmac logos, and VTG with MRL logos. Emerging from Leefield Central Station is the 6E51 Peak Forest to Selby loaded wagons, with a Class 59 in charge because they were experimenting to see how the 59s would perform. The last train of the day is the 6M43, a rake of empty wagons travelling back from Selby to Peak Forest, again with a Class 59 in charge. It has been a very interesting and productive 5-year period. But Revolution are not finished with us yet, because there are 15 more N-gauge models in the pipeline.